welcome to this episode of Let's Talk 716 Sports. Today, my special guest is Jeramy, and we will be talking some Bills football. Um, so, what do you think of the previous season for the Bills?
I think the previous season went better than any predictions I think most people had. There's always the very optimistic people, but I think when you kind of focus on like the medium, like the average, a lot of people were saying based on strength of schedule, like maybe 10-6 again. Some people were even saying 9-7. And the optimistic people were going very high. Um, and I agreed. I said, we had a tougher schedule, like 10-6 would would be good if we matched our record, but a tougher schedule. And obviously, I think we exceeded it. I think our offense did way better than anybody like imagined, and obviously that was awesome because I mean, like I feel like the most entertaining thing in football to me is just an exciting offense. So Josh Allen took a huge step forward that I think very few people expected him to take. Um, the addition of Stephon Diggs worked out, I think, almost as good as you could have hoped for. And yeah, I thought that was great. Unfortunately, our run game was not as strong, but again, the passing game, like I said, was very good and so fun to watch. The defense, I think we were all kind of bummed with the dip that our defense took. We started off really bad, and then we kind of got a little bit better, or maybe even a little bit more better as the season went on. Um, the unavailability of Matt Milano was kind of a bummer. The injuries of Tremaine Edmonds and Ed Oliver that they had to play through, like, also kind of hurt things. And the fact that we had to play AJ Klein way more than any of us wanted to was a bit of a bummer. But honestly, like, I really feel like the offense kind of made up for it, and like they just did so great, and it was a super fun thing to watch. Um, so yeah, as far as the season went, like, obviously it was a bummer that it's not a bummer. We made it all the way to the AFC Championship. I think most people said, let's win a wild card game and at least let's get like one win in the postseason. And we did even better. And we made it to an AFC Championship game. And we lost to the Chiefs, which, hey, I mean, if you're going to lose to a team, it might as well be the Chiefs. They have like the best quarterback in the league right now. And, it was unfortunate, but like I said, I feel like we really did a lot better than the expectations we set. So I think it was a very positive season. We had an unfortunate ending, but it was a very good season.
Yeah, I think that like making it to the AFC Championship game was like the big part for the Bills to get get the fans involved in that.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think of our defense, like from last year to um this upcoming season?
Uh, so defense. I mean, try. I mean, we definitely added to our defensive end room. I know we needed youth, and we went back to back with defensive end with our first and second round picks. And I think because of that, um, we still have Hughes and Addison. We added Gregory Rousseau and Boogie Basham and F.A. Obata, and we are hoping that A.J. Epinesa continues his what's the word progression. So I think our defensive end room is better. I think it will be better, which is good. Our interior defensive line, we have Star Lotulelei coming back. We have Harrison Phillips more removed from his ACL injury. So I think we really need them to do well. Uh, you hope that Star can come back after a year off with his age and just be serviceable. I think that's like best case scenario. We hope he can just come back and be serviceable. We hope Harrison Phillips can kind of reach his ceiling at the one tech position. And then at three tech, again, with them back, Ed Oliver can play his natural position like every snap. And then, behind him, we have Vernon Butler, who's a little bit of like a hybrid interior line. And then we also have guys like F.A. Obata, Boogie Basham, and uh, AJ Epinesa, who can sometimes be versatile and be worked into the three tech position. So I think our defensive line is going to improve, and it's not just hoping either. I feel like it just has to. Um, Behind that, we have Matt Milano coming back, which is a big surprise to me. I love Matt Milano, but I just felt like we were going to let him walk, and we ended up re-signing him. So and that's cool. Like I said, I love him. I'm glad he's back. We have a healthy Tremaine Edmonds who hopefully can show improvement. I feel like in this third year, despite his injury, he kind of got back to normal, but I still think we want to see a little bit more from him. So I hope he can improve. And then what else? The cornerback position, I feel that we were all hoping another cornerback was drafted in the first, second, maybe third round, and Bean did not do that. So I think we're all kind of hoping that we have Levi Wallace. We kind of know what he is. Um, Dane Jackson, we saw him a little bit. So I think we're hoping that there's more to Dane Jackson, and then maybe he can best Levi Wallace, because I don't think Levi Wallace will probably get better. So I feel like the optimism is that Dane Jackson can be better than him and possibly take that CB2 spot. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And then we have Taron Johnson in a contract year. And I know that Taron Johnson had two huge memorable plays last season. He had two pick sixes, one against the Steelers and one against the Ravens. And we'll never forget those, but I don't think his job is completely safe. He doesn't have a lot of competition. I think maybe um, I think it's Rashad Wildgoose. I think he might be some competition at the corner slot. But Taron Johnson did the beginning of the season was not good. He was playing very poorly. He was getting picked on. He did do much better, but that huge span where he just was not doing well, I still think should be on our minds. So I think we need to provide him with some competition. And then lastly, our safeties. We have one of the best safety tandems with Hyde and Boyer. They're awesome. I don't really have any doubts in them, so that's good. But hopefully, I'm not just rambling too much. But there's everything I feel about the defense.
Do you think Josh Allen got better um last year?
Absolutely. I know with on Buffalo Fanatics, our one of our leaders, Pierre Kingpin, like he was going in to the season saying that Josh Allen was going to be like an MVP candidate. And I think a lot of us were like, that would be awesome, but let's be honest, I don't think any of us were expecting the jump he took. He went from 20 passing touchdowns to I think it was like 37. I don't think any of us were expecting that, and he did. So yeah, absolutely, he got much better. It was crazy to see because, like I said, I don't think any of us were expecting it. Were you expecting the jump that he took?
Um I wasn't expecting like that he would be that good in last year, but he kind of surprised me a little bit when he started out good.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that'll carry over into this season?
I I hope it does for him because now he's got another wide receiver that came from a different team.
Mm-hmm. You talk about Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean, we're talking about the offense. I feel like Emmanuel Sanders is a bit of an upgrade over John Brown. He is older, but some stats, some analytics said that he is still like top 10, top 5 when it comes to like his burst. So he's still like has a what's the word? He's still got it, I think. I don't think he's we can expect that much of a drop off from him. And I feel like as I know when it comes to wide receivers, everybody kind of talks about speed, but I feel like Diggs and the addition of Sanders and already Beasley are showing like Brandon Bean said. He said we just want, or maybe it was Sean McDermott. He said just get open and catch the football. And I think Diggs and Beasley are have already proven that. Like they're not speedsters, they're not slow, but their route running and their ability to separate is awesome. And I think Emmanuel Sanders is going to be another one of those. So I'm excited just to have him for the year.
what did you think of Diggs and Allen this year?
They were fantastic. When Diggs came in, everybody kind of had that whole, well, he's kind of a diva. Is he going to be like a problem in the locker room? Um, but you know, I heard some people. I was listening to some podcasts and coaches who coach Stephon Diggs. They said no, he's a worker. He just really cares, and he might seem outspoken, but it's not because he's a diva. It's because he's just a hard worker. And so he came in, and him and Allen, their chemistry was awesome. It was exactly what you could have hoped for. It wasn't like 17 touchdowns, like I think it was Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers had, but it was a little bit less. But that's because we were able to spread the ball around a little bit more. But I think about that Pittsburgh game where it was mostly in the second half, but you would think as an opposing defense, they say Diggs is that number one guy. We got to do our best to take him away, and we just targeted Allen just targeted Diggs crazy, like a lot. He did so good, and it's so awesome when your number one weapon can excel like that, and opposing defenses and a good defense like the Pittsburgh Steelers have, you can straight up just say no, we're gonna we're gonna use our number one weapon and you can't take them away. So I know they had some injuries, but it was just so awesome to be able to see us kind of still target him, um, because again you think that's the guy we need to take away and they didn't. And I just love that. So I thought that was awesome. I love Stephon Diggs. I'm glad we got him. I think it was a smart trade. So yeah, him and Allen, I think they're going to be our favorite quarterback wide receiver duo for a while.
Do you think that it would be the same with Emmanuel Sanders and Josh Allen this year?
I think he can almost be like a like an extension, I guess, almost like the same thing because I feel like him and Diggs, from what I hear, are very similar. Like they're not burners, even though I think Emmanuel Sanders had a pretty good 40 time. But the first thing you hear, it's not their speed, it's just their route running. So we saw how well Diggs and Allen did, and now I almost feel like we have another Stephon Diggs on the team, and he is a bit older, but that's fine. It's more experience, more possible like leadership. So yeah, I feel like only more good things can come with him.
what do you think of um the running back room uh so far?
I know it was a little tough last year. And based on what I've heard, we changed our blocking scheme and that just didn't seem to work. But the fact that we didn't draft a running back, I know we signed Matt Breida, which he adds more speed than Moss and Singletary, but I'm very happy with it. I was one of those people, I did not want to draft a running back. And I think the fact that we didn't shows that Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott, they believe in what we have, and they just think that we need to work on the blocking, and we can get the running game going again. So I'm very happy with Moss and Singletary. I and I'm happy with the addition of Matt Breida. Um, I hope he can actually be active. It'll be interesting because we usually just carry four running backs. That fourth one is usually the special teamer, and the third one is almost always inactive. Um, I would like to see Matt Breida active and definitely see what he can do. And then there's also Antonio Williams, who kind of stole our hearts in the Week 17 matchup against the Dolphins. Um, he's actually a little faster. He had a better 40 time than Moss and Singletary. And I know it's just a 40 time, but it'll be also interesting to see what he can do. We got a lot of running backs. We have a lot of good ones. It'll be interesting to see how they do in training camp. Um, I'm excited for the preseason this year for sure because I know that'll be our opportunity to see all of them uh, get some reps and do some work. So that'll be fun. How about you?
I I think that like with the new running back Breida and like I think he would mentor Singletary or Moss for the season.
Yeah, it would be unfortunate to not see Breida active because, like I said, we all know he has that speed, and Brandon Bean mentioned that he's very open to adding to the running back room if it's an element we don't have, and I think we all agree that speed is that one. So if he's inactive every game day, that would be kind of a bummer. So I hope we get to see him.
What was your favorite or least favorite draft pick?
So my philosophy is and I think a lot of Bills fans would agree with this, and maybe just football fans in general, but I want almost instant contributors with our first 3 to 4 round picks. Um, at 30, we went with Gregory Rousseau. I know he had a really good season. He opted out. He's got a lot of tools, he's got a lot of traits, but I hear he does lack some explosiveness. When he was mentioned as our first round pick, I was like, mm, I was kind of iffy on him. Um, Carlos Boogie Basham seems like he would be more of an NFL ready. He seems like he'd be more ready to play. Unfortunately, since we took a defensive end in the first round, I was a little bummed that we took another defensive end in the second round. So his pick was kind of hindered by the first one. When it happened, I texted my dad and I was like, another defensive end? I mean, I know we needed youth, but we have Epinesa. We signed Obata. We just added Rousseau, and they went with another defensive end. So I was like, okay, I feel like that seems like a unnecessary double dip. Um, Third round pick was an offensive tackle, which again, I wasn't super thrilled with because we have Deion Dawkins. We just signed Daryl Williams to 3 years. So right off the bat, I said we signed a tackle who's not going to start, and we drafted 2 defensive ends who are probably just going to be rotational players. And with Rousseau, he's a defensive end that you're going to have to wait on to really see the results. So with the first 3 picks, I was already like not excited. We didn't have a fourth round pick, And then in the 5th round, we drafted another offensive tackle. So I was very kind of like indifferent with a lot of our picks. But I think the fact that we do need youth at the defensive end pick or defensive end room, and I know Rousseau and Boogie Basham, like they're gonna play this year. Like they will contribute, but since they're contributing in a rotational role, like it kind of doesn't hit as much. But I would say, I guess it was a little bit Rousseau, but also maybe the 5th round pick with Tommy Doyle. And I know he's got potential, but when it comes to the 5th round, first off, 6th and 7th round picks, I'm not really. You can almost do whatever you want with the 6th and 7th round picks because you're starting to get into like almost undrafted territory where it's like maybe these guys make the roster or they even don't. So I don't really care too much about who we go with in the 6th and 7th round. But with the 5th round, Brandon Beane has shown, and Sean McDermott, they've shown the ability to maybe pick up some steals in the 5th round. So I think I'm going to go with Tommy Doyle because in the 5th round, they went with another offensive tackle when we already drafted an offensive tackle who probably wasn't going to start. We went with another one. And for me, again, it was like we could have went with a defensive player or who had a chance to compete um, or an offensive player who had a chance to compete. And I felt like we went with a tackle who has to like compete to compete. You know what I mean? Like he's not even going to get a starting job. Maybe he competes for like swing or something. So yeah, if I had to pick my least favorite draft pick, I think I would go with Tommy Doyle. How about you?
I would say the same guy, um, Tommy Doyle, because I think that he might not start this season.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And then you said favorite.
Yeah.
So again, my favorite, I'm going to narrow it down to the first 2 picks again because Spencer Brown, he's a developmental guy, so I'm not too excited about that. I feel like down the road he could become an awesome one, but I don't think he's going to be much of a contributor this year. So for me, I kind of feel like it comes down to Rousseau and Basham. Basham also had a like a first round grade on him by some people, and we got him in the 2nd round. Rousseau has like really good physical traits. Um, but from what I hear smarter people saying is that Basham will probably come in as a more ready player, which I like. Rousseau will be more developmental. And for me, and if I don't want to spend our first round pick on a developmental player unless it's a quarterback, like outside of quarterback, I want our first rounder to come in and play. Um, Defensive ends who are drafted later they don't have a big success rate. But so in a way, I lean towards Basham because he seems like somebody who's going to be able to come in and contribute more. He may not have as high of a ceiling. Uh, Rousseau could have a higher ceiling, but you don't know what you're going to get. So that's why I kind of go back and forth. So yeah, I guess I would go with right now, and this could be changed later. I'm going to go with Basham as my favorite, and I'm not even super thrilled about it, but he has a very cool nickname, which is Boogie. Uh, so Boogie Basham. Um, Rousseau has a cool nickname as well, Groot, and I love Marvel and I love the movies. So, but I think right now it's a little bit more Boogie Basham. How about you?
Um, I think maybe Rousseau would be like a good addition to the defensive ends, and so is Basham. I think both of them are good for the defensive ends, but I would go with Rousseau
Okay.
is my favorite pick.
Yeah, and I know his like post draft interview like won people over. He's got a really good attitude, and I like that. And obviously, I root for him, but like I said, it's just because of my philosophy. I want a first rounder who you are pretty certain can just come in and play, and he's almost gonna be like Epinesa. Like Epinesa had a first round grade, but we got him in the second. He was a healthy scratch week one. He struggled a little bit, and it took him a while to come on. And I feel like Rousseau could be similar. So that's why I can't really put him as like my favorite now because, like I said, I feel like we just kind of have to wait with him, and that's fine. But we'll see.
Um, do you have any questions?
Yeah. So I pulled up our schedule for the 2021 season, and I'm curious what games in the 2021 season stand out to you and why.
Um, Probably the first game against Pittsburgh.
Hmm. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. My brother is a Pittsburgh fan, so I kind of want us to whoop them so I know that he'll be unhappy later on. And so there's that. Um, and also, I mean, it'll be interesting just to see, what's happening to Roethlisberger. He didn't look great last year. Um, so that'll kind of be like I think it'll be a tough match for sure. Um, and I'm not saying we beat them for sure, but it'll be tough. But I think we can absolutely. But it is a good week one matchup for sure.
and and then the Kansas City game.
Yeah, everybody's looking at that as the AFC Championship rematch, and I almost feel like Kansas City is the new Patriots for us. For a while, it was like the Patriots were always in our way, and we took a leap with our team, and the Patriots could get in our way again, but now it's they're just a division rival. I feel like they're not the dynasty they were, but they could still be in our way, just like the Dolphins can be in our way, and the Jets. But it's like we kind of got over the Patriots hump, and now it's like the Chiefs. So, uh, and they're gonna be like the test. It's that first that first matchup. It's just are we if we can't they're kind of like our gauge, like can we get to the Super Bowl and win. It's all about how well we play against the Chiefs, I feel. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that like the Kansas City Chiefs might be like the team to beat um this year.
Hmm. Like they've always been. Obviously they have a really good offense, and I feel like you don't hear a lot about their defense, but I feel like their defense sometimes just looks like so fantastic. It's crazy. um it I feel like their defense is very kind of like dynamic and fluid. It's like sometimes they can just look like a very good defense, and you don't hear about it as much because it's overshadowed by their offense. But definitely, any other games that stand out for you?
Um, Probably that Thursday game when they
Which one?
uh, I don't remember what team they play, but
Is it the Saints, the Thanksgiving?
yeah, the Saints.
Yeah. I mean, playing on Thanksgiving stands out because we're going to be on the national spotlight. So that's cool. Like, I liked it because the last time we did it was against the Cowboys, and we did well in that game. Um, so getting to do that again will be cool. And it's like a primetime game. And it's the Saints who have been very successful like the last few years. Um, that's week 12. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of team they are because they don't have Drew Brees anymore. Um, so I agree. That's another one that stands out. Thanksgiving in New Orleans. That'll be fun. And also, I feel like we have to mention this, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. We're playing, not only are we playing the Chiefs, who won the Super Bowl before, the year before, they made it this year. Um, and then we're playing the Super Bowl winners, and we're seeing Tom Brady again. Is that a game that's on your radar as well?
Yeah, seeing Tom Brady and hopefully we can like show him who's the better team.
Yeah. Them and the Chiefs, I feel like are the same. It's like if you want to know how good your team really is, those two games are gonna be the like the test to show us. So that'll be a good game. It'll be a very anxious game. I think that's gonna be the one that we worry about a lot. And outside of that, I know there's the Falcons, which kind of people kind of talk about, but yeah, I know that they drafted Kyle Pitts. They have Julio Jones, who might be on the trading block. But I've heard that game brought up a lot. But for me, that's on the low end of that first tier of games. How do you feel about our division rivals, like the Patriots, the Jets, and Dolphins? Did any of them move the needle after the draft and the offseason for you?
Um, I think maybe the Jets did
Yeah,
because they because their quarterback Sam Darnold went um uh,
Carolina.
to Carolina.
Yeah, yeah. I think the Jets made some pretty good moves. They have a new head coach. I think they have a good GM. Um, and he's had his first two drafts have been good for them. And then they have, like I said, they have a good head coach now. They have some good players. They drafted Elijah Moore, which was a player I really wanted. So I'm kind of bummed that he went there. Um, so they're a better team. I think our division teams are better. Absolutely. Uh, it'll be interesting. The Patriots are going to be interesting again as well. Like the second year without Tom Brady, they drafted a quarterback. They brought back Cam Newton. Um, After like a down year, it'll be interesting to see Belichick in year two without Tom Brady. So that will be interesting. And the Dolphins had a good defense. I think they still do. They drafted one of the best wide receivers. Um, so yeah, they're definitely a team I don't take lightly as well. So I think all three teams got better, and again, it'll be interesting to see what how they are.
Do you have any other questions?
Um, I feel like last time we spoke, you had a lot more Sabres stuff behind you, and this time it seems way more Bill stuff. Do you kind of rotate out your decor as the year goes on?
Yeah. Sometimes um like during this time of the season, I just um pay attention to like football, and then like the last time we spoke, I would um be paying attention to hockey though.
Okay, the hockey season is kind of. Are they in the playoffs now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um
and the Sabres are definitely out, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But like during the playoffs, I just watch the games because sometimes my editor Ron asks me to come on his show and talk about it.
Is that Ranting Ron?
Yeah.
Okay, when you say the name Ron, that's what I think of when it comes to like Buffalo sports and stuff. So very cool.
And yeah, ranting Ron, he has his own show which he does a good job on too. So
Right. Cool. Yeah, I know the Sabres. I don't follow the Sabres, but Twitter definitely lets me know that they had another not so great year. So sorry that you had to suffer through that.
Yeah,
But I guess after going through the Bills drought, I mean, we can do anything, right?
yeah. And hopefully this year the Bills can make it like to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the goal. Um, I feel like with us Bills fans, once we raise the bar, once the bar gets raised, I feel like we keep it there. So I think all of us are thinking we at least have to make it back to the AFC Championship again. So and again, we have to beat the Chiefs. Do you think we have a better chance of beating the Chiefs? What do you think?
I think the Bills have a better chance of beating the Chiefs this year.
Yeah, I feel like everybody talked about after the Super Bowl. They said, "Oh, if you can put pressure on Pat Mahomes, then that's the way to beat him." Uh, and I know the Buccaneers have a good defense, but they also didn't play the Chiefs' best offensive line. The Chiefs' offensive line was not as good as it could have been. They had some injuries and stuff like that. So for me, I don't really believe that we have to put so much eggs in the defensive end room because we're not going to play that same offensive line that the Bucks got to play for that one game. Um, so I think we just have to be better in coverage as well. I don't think it's all in the defensive end room. Um, Again, it's about coverage. Did we get better in coverage? Not really. We just stuck with Levi Wallace and Dane Jackson, so that'll be interesting. So yeah, I hate to say that we didn't get better, but I also feel like maybe just a better game plan can make us a more effective team because the first time we played the Chiefs, we held them to fewer points than the second time, and that was without some of our better players. So I think it's possible with a better game plan, but we'll see.
Um, where can people or my viewers um find you and your co-host?
So I do the Buffalo Bootleg podcast on the Buffalo Fanatics Network. We usually air on Sundays. We've been off for the past couple weeks. Max was taking a little break for a little bit, and then I decided to take a break for a little bit. But I think we're going to get back at it here this coming week. So get back to our routine thing. So yeah, the Buffalo Bootleg airs Sundays, and again, I think you can expect a new episode um, a week from today. And I am on Twitter as a BFF Jeramy, and it's kind of a play on PFF. A lot of those guys have PFF Sam or PFF Jacob or whatever their names are, but we all know it's PFF versus Buffalo. So during that whole thing, I changed it to BFF Jeremy. So that's a Buffalo Fanatics focus or something like that. Just a joke. So it's at BFF_Jeremy. And my co host, Max, you can find him at Cinco de Maxo. He's a very cultural guy. So I think that's where it stems from. I think he's part Mexican too. Uh, Maybe. We'll see.
And um thank you for watching this episode of Let's Talk 716 Sports. Thank you to my guest Jeramy, and go Bills.
Go Bills.